Hi, my name is Adora Sweetalk, and I'm not going to bother with a long introduction, but here's my commentary on the debt ceiling debacle. I hope I'm pronouncing that word correctly. Well, my opinion, obviously, since if you've seen enough of my commentaries by now, you know that I am a fairly liberal Democrat. Actually, change that. I'm like a really liberal Democrat. But before you judge me too harshly, saying that I'm going to be partisan and that my views have probably been affected by my parents and that, you know, I'm like a really left-wing radical and etc., just hear me out. So this is my personal opinion. Obviously, you can feel free to differ. That's what makes our country awesome. But here's my personal opinion. So the Republicans are saying, let's not raise taxes on the American people. What they really mean by that, if you'll allow me to translate, is let's not raise taxes on 2% of the American people who are super, super rich, and let's cut all the programs that help poor people, because why do we want rich people to pay to help their neighbors? I wonder where we've heard that sort of thing before. Anyway, before I get too much into morality and why we should be helping people who are less privileged, I'm just going to say that it requires a fair amount of translation to get through all the muck that everybody's been saying. And I mean, it's probably been coming from both sides. You hear people using euphemisms on both sides. But I wish that certain Democrats would also have a bit more spine and call certain Republicans out for using terms that I think just fairly aren't accurate. Okay, let's take one of the biggest ones, job creators. So let's not raise taxes on the American people equaling 2% of the American people. Another one, it's very insidious, job creators. Okay, so what is a job creator? This sounds like a very nice person who is going out there and creating lots of jobs for people. Well, job creators equals really rich people is essentially the translation here that I can think of. And this is the best excuse why I can think Republicans don't want to raise taxes on really rich people, who they're referring to as job creators, is that either a lot of Republicans are job creators or they're getting money from job creators. So yeah, there's a lot of lobbying going on, and a lot of the people paying for the lobbying are our friends, the job creators. Unfortunately, what you may know is that a lot of jobs don't actually come from these huge billionaires sitting on their heaps of money and trying to lobby against having a minimum wage. A lot of jobs come from very small businesses started by normal, everyday people who Republicans and Democrats alike like to talk a lot about, but when it comes down to it, not a whole lot in this whole thing for them. So, be scared of Republicans when they say, let's cut wasteful government spending. Translation, anything that helps old people, sick people, young people, poor people, okay, generally underprivileged sectors of society. Okay, so that's wasteful government spending right there. So let's cut wasteful government spending, and let's not raise taxes on the American people, okay? The American people, 2% of the American people, and job creators, uber rich people. So there's your basic guide to translating stuff that comes out of Republicans' mouth. I'm sure there's a Republican person doing it equivalent for Democrats. But in my opinion, there's no reason why we shouldn't have a tax system that taxes people based on how much you make. I mean, a lot of people have said, okay, this is punishing people for getting rich. And I'm like, you know what? If you can like buy a yacht and have a big house and you're complaining about paying a couple extra $100, I really don't think that you have much grounds to do that. I'm sorry. I mean, it's one thing if we're like making you pay, I don't know, majority of the money that you make, but our taxes are so low compared to many other developed nations. When you look at nations in Europe, where by the way people are happier, according to polls, Denmark is one of the world's happiest nations. You know, people in the U.S. often talk about European socialism with a really bad tone, like America is going down this deep dark hole, but you know what? Taxes are not a bad word. If you want an ambulance to come rescue you when you have a heart attack, if you want road crews to fill up those potholes in the roads that you keep on bumping over in your SUV and complaining about, if you want police to be protecting you as you're walking down the street, if you want preschool opportunities for children so that kids are able to read earlier and have a head start on education. If you want programs so that kids can go to college without having to graduate with hundreds of thousands of dollars in crushing debt and interest on student loans, if you want any of those things which are offered as part of what many Republicans call wasteful government spending, you might want to do a rethink on some of the terms that you've heard. So next time you're watching the news, and I mean I think this applies to all parties, it's not like I'm just taking everything that all Democrats say as gospel and everything that all Republicans say as nasty stuff that I have to be cynical about. You know, it's obviously, you just have to be aware that there's a lot of euphemisms or terms kind of cloaking the, I guess, real definition of a lot of things. You know, job creators being really rich people. That's just one of the more obvious ones. Or the American people, really not describing all the American people. So next time you turn on the news and you get really worked up because America's going down this deep dark hole of big government spending and wasteful programs and you know, we're just totally in the wasteland, you know, then think about the kids who are being helped by preschool programs and potholes being filled and all these various programs that, yeah, are thanks to Uncle Sam. So, taxes rock, education rocks. There are a lot of things that we pay for, yes, out of tax money, and the IRS is not the big bad wolf. So let's keep our country strong by continuing to hold it up with our tax dollars, whether you're a rich person or a poor person. You shouldn't get out of essentially being a good citizen, and that means really watching the news, being aware of what's going on, making your voice heard, and having well-informed and well-decided opinions. I don't care if you agree with me or not, but as long as you have facts to back you up, that's great. So I'm looking forward to your comments and any ideas that you have on this. And yeah, so let me know what your favorite terms are that you've been trying to decode as well. I think it's a great thing to hear more voices on this issue, as long as those voices aren't unbearably shrill and unreasonable ones. And I'm hoping that you don't think that my voice is that. Okay, well, thanks for watching.